Hey, what's up? Dave with Brazos Valley Strength. So this is my last heavy week of training, the last big week. Well, I expect. We'll talk about that, I guess, throughout the week. But I wanted to make this video to talk about what my peak week looks like, what my heaviest week of training will look like, and kind of my routine and just everything that goes into all this stuff. So I'll be showing a little bit of my coaching stuff. I'll talk about really how that interacts with my gym life and everything, and how organization wise, and keep kind of everything in balance there. But mostly I'm going to talk about my goals throughout the week, just talk about everything that I expect to get from these sessions. I'm going to try to talk about stuff before I actually go into the gym, so I can outline some of my goals and my objectives and everything, and then maybe I'll either talk immediately after that session or before the next session. I'll talk about maybe some reflections on the previous session. So overall, hopefully this video will be able to, outline some of the highs and lows. I guess I'm expecting a lot of highs this week. But anyway, just being able to adapt to everything that goes on. So to start off, we'll start with breakfast for the day. I pretty much do the exact same thing nutrition-wise every day. So if you do have questions on nutrition, please watch my nutrition video where I outline kind of my strategy. I'm not going to talk about it too much here, mostly just for B-roll, but we'll get started with the day. So final week of the block, day one. So what I'm doing here is this is my busiest day of the week normally. Well, I guess Sundays and Mondays are my busiest day. So this is kind of my weekly check-in time for most of my athletes. So if anybody has looked, I have two coaching options. So this is one of the options to where they submit their check-ins. Usually we have this little Google form here. Most people fill out, and then a lot of their videos, and then I'm just reviewing their spreadsheet and making adjustments and things like that. Pretty much all my feedback is through video. So if you watched my YouTube videos, basically that's kind of the style that you get from me, feedback wise, pretty much every week. And then the other option is the unlimited coaching stuff, which is kind of just throughout the week, but very similar. So anyway, all my check-ins pile up over the weekend. So Sundays and Mondays are kind of my, I don't know that it's my biggest work day, but it's more time dependent because I'm trying to get back to these people before their week of training. So a lot of times, like from my life perspective, life and training, I try to make the beginning of my week a little bit easier. I think it's flowed well just with normal training anyway, having my heavier stuff at the back end of the week. But kind of what you're seeing right here is one of the biggest reasons why I actually do my lightest stuff early in the week. Is like this day, these 2 days are a little bit more mentally draining for me. You're sitting in the chair a whole lot longer. I don't know if tedious is the right word, but definitely a lot less like flow and So my early training days in the week, I think, are somewhat affected by just kind of what my work life is like early on. So basically what I'm doing today will be my lightest bench press day after this. It used to be part of my squat day on Monday. Today is Sunday. But I separated those kind of because of this stuff, right? Like I just ended up, the sessions on Mondays were kind of taking too long at times, motivation sort of low. So I found that dividing those has helped me a little bit. So still, these sessions today and tomorrow, or today, tomorrow, even Tuesday, are my lightest sessions of the week. I'm not really expecting a whole lot. My pec has been, really really bugging me since I strained it after that corrupted strength seminar thing, doing some dumbbell bench press. So we'll see what I can really get done. It's getting better. I think I'm getting to the point where I can bench with my fingers, my grip, at the full width that I want them at, as the pec is kind of recovering. So hopefully today, after I wrap all this stuff up, I should have a pretty good bench press day. But on my program, I've had to change it from a top set to kind of ascending sets to be able to feel out the pec, but mostly just kind of looking for flow stuff overall. So hopefully that session goes well this afternoon.
He don't care how they feel, they really don't love him. He always on his own, the kids really ducking. He's rich now, we ain't changed him. Singing just like God, I told him drunk, bitch, ask how high. I said it all done, dead, one in the head, put it right in your head, bitch. Give a fuck about the fans, I ain't scared. I ain't putting down my gun, I ain't crazy. This ain't on the ground, then I'm sliding niggas dead.
Okay, so just got one more set here. Working my way up to 165, I guess it's like 364 pounds. So I think this will actually end up being 5 kilos above anything that I've done this block. The pec is kind of average. I think it's about what it's been for the last few weeks, so kind of not really any better, any worse. I tried to go with my full, my normal grip, kind of right around ring finger on the ring. I'm not quite there yet. I think I still have to go kind of in between those two fingers. It feels a little bit in between ring finger and middle finger, so that feels a little bit better. But anyway, I think we're gonna be okay at the competition. I think I still think that I can probably 190, 195, I think will probably be okay. So got one more set here. I think overall kind of encouraging for the day. So right after this set, I'm running over to the gym, kind of right around the corner from my house, knocking out a few upper body accessories and calling it a day. So I guess the next video will be from tomorrow, and I'll talk. My squats have been the big question mark this block, so I'll dive into that a little bit more. I think I'm expecting some big stuff this week anyway, but we'll see tomorrow, I guess. All right, so today is my first squat day of the week, so I guess I'll talk about everything that's been going on there, because it hadn't really been great. We'll see what ends up coming out of this, but today is my secondary squat day of the week. I'm actually gonna, in the description of this video, I'm gonna make my program. I have like the template of the program, but I'm gonna have actually my program, the one where I've made adjustments and tracked all my information and all that. I'll make that available for people to at least look at. I guess you can edit it if you want. But you'll see, especially on day 2, which is my first squat day of the week, how many changes I've had to make there. And even if you look at day 6, which is my primary squat day, it started off really, really good. This block, the first 3 weeks were just excellent. And then had, one bad day. I was leaving early in the morning for my brother's wedding, so I wasn't like super surprised there. Then the following week, last week, was just even worse. Maybe I have like some little things, I guess, like technique wise, I think I can mess with, but more than anything, it's just been my knee. My knee has, if you followed me really for a while, you'll know here and there I have some knee discomfort. It's kind of inconsistent when it shows up. Historically, I've been, and like even now, I would say I've been able to manage it. Like my knee pain right now is very, very low. And I would say last week, actually, it was very, very low, which was pretty frustrating though, to have my squat go as poorly as it did. But one of the things that I had to do, I guess hindsight, I'm regretting it a little bit. But 2 weeks ago, I guess, I tried to squat on my secondary squat day, and like basically my knee was so bad that I couldn't get above like 220 kilos. I think I did a triple of 220 kilos. And like even doing the first rep, I was like, I shouldn't be here. So skipped all my belt squatting and everything on that day. But you know what, I was like, you know what, I bet I can do some lighter reps with the belt squat, get in some, when I say volume with my legs, I'm basically just talking about reps, like literally just movement. Because I think one of the things I feel at the moment is detrained from the squatting, but more than like detrained from the squatting, like just super unpracticed with squat movements in general. So like we can say detrained as like specificity within my low bar squat and kind of like timing things, but even just like having a good feel of where I want my legs to be and like timing, turning around at the bottom and things like that. Like I just feel very, very untrained. And I'm actually intending on making a video about this at some point, kind of like fatigue within training blocks and sometimes people wanting to pull back too much and then like still feeling fatigued. Like I am not fatigued right now. I can say with 100% certainty I am not fatigued, but I'm detrained, right? So stuff feels really hard and, you know, I get comments here and there that's like, oh, well, you know, the taper will help. Well, the taper will not help. I need more training. So I think there's a pretty good chance that I basically trained straight into this competition, but this which by the way, that's why I don't always add my taper weeks to my blocks right away, because I kind of want to see what's going on. So today kind of feels big. I'm switching back to doing low bar squats instead of the belt squats. My knee is doing pretty well. I just have to, right? Like I assume it's not going to make my knee worse, but I kind of don't really have another option. I don't feel great about skipping low bar squatting again on this day in favor of making the knee a little bit better, because like last week I still just felt so unpracticed, you know, unskilled, untrained with the squat. So I just need those reps. I need the reps of the low bar squatting. And hopefully I'll have a good squat day at the end of the week. But essentially my plan, like in my mind, I have 4 more squat days to kind of like right the ship. And I feel like I'm strong. I know I'm strong. 3 weeks ago, whatever it was, I just smoked that 315, you know, 695, whatever it was, single on squats. And I was clearly, you know, looking to squat well into the 700s at this point, and just like it kind of fell apart. So I'm not necessarily worried about my strength, but I for sure am a little bit worried about the skill. So today feels big, but there's 4 more squat sessions this week, 2 this week, 2 next week that'll be a little bit lighter. And the competition. So, I mean, like ultimately I still have kind of big goals. I still think I can make some big stuff happen there, but we'll see. I don't know. I mean, that's kind of what's been going on with my squat. So if this week goes really well, that will feel really big, but I still have a lot of time. So I don't know, you know, I'll reflect, I guess, after this session and kind of see how I feel. It's kind of something I just have to deal with all the time, right? Is my knee isn't always going to be great, but maybe one of my thoughts here before not to go on too long is I think these moments are important, not necessarily for myself because I've been through a number of these, but as lifters, if you are struggling heading into a competition with a little injury or whatever, I would absolutely encourage you, or just bad training, right? It doesn't need to be an injury, it could just be not very good training. I would absolutely encourage you to do that competition, because I'm like annoyed and frustrated right now, but this is not that big of a meet. But me heading into nationals 2 years ago, kind of a similar circumstance. I was squatting okay, but I really couldn't deadlift because my knee was hurting. And I ended up nearly pulling 385 in that competition after basically only being able to do like 2 deadlift sessions in like 6 weeks heading in. So, you know, you can make stuff happen, but even beyond the, like, it can still turn out well, because I think a lot of times, like, this meet may go very badly for me. It might. But I think that the practice of being able to overcome these kind of things and learn the skills that you need to roll with the punches within competition blocks, but just within training all the time, right? Like, that's one of the things that has helped me tremendously along my career is just that I'm better, I think, at rolling with the punches than a lot of people. And I would say many of the very best lifters are just better than other people at being able to deal with adversity or whatever it is, right? So, sure, you know, I wish this was going better, but, you know, it's okay. You know, I have other competitions and I have like stuff in my head that I really think will help moving forward. So I'm still looking and expecting for a big competition, but we'll see. Like, this squat day feels big, so we'll see how it goes.
Oh, I see they catching feelings on me. Oh, God. If you see catches, put the Billy on me, get the city on me. I was riding in that Civic, homie, probably with a shorty. Now I need the life to kick in. Everybody keep recording, go buy 2 things in my lifestyle. Gain money and lose, nigga. Everything start getting big. Roll out on my way. I ain't even shit my gun up. So roll out when I talk about what I'm saying. I can't change the color. I can't get no Z's. Hustle like it's 2 of me. Put my back in 90 G's. Smart investment 50 P's. I let Lil Bro on my weed. We just pulled on 1, 2, 3. I put deuces in my juices like pink stain on my white tees. Jumped in the game with some confidence. Now when you look around London, see for the rest of them had a buzz in the plug. He pay what you weigh, I ain't running. We a trendsetter on steel style and on air work like an iCloud. You gon' get round on
All right, yeah, big win, it feels like. 280, 617, I think is what I just did, a triple. Felt like right about a 7 RP, which was the target here, but at the beginning of the block, I think in my block overview, I said I wasn't gonna end up going heavy at all on this day. But you know, I think it's for the same reasons that I am going heavy now. I was trying to make sure I was practicing appropriately, getting in light enough work to not bug my knee, and then I was gonna continue to push the belt squats just to get in those reps. And that all kind of fell apart for me. So anyway, you know, I think some of the technical stuff that I maybe realized at the end of last week. I mean, last week was horrible. The end of last week, I hit a single with 305 that was pretty hard. Kind of tried to stay in it, you know, emotionally. And I was like, look, let me just go back down. I'm gonna add an extra triple. Like, I kind of was aware of some of my issues, or like my perceived issues, like kind of reps, you know, just not really feeling on with my rep work, or that I'm lacking reps. So just not really feeling on, so I needed more rep work to kind of get it back. So I was gonna lower the RPE by a little bit and add a set, try to accumulate a little bit more reps, a little bit more volume. And I think I missed one of my reps with 260 on my first set after tripling 290 like 3 weeks ago. So it was just like a horrible, horrible day. But then kind of in the moment, I was like, all right, look, let's back down. Let's go down to 240. If I miss reps at 240, I'm just gonna quit powerlifting forever. But it went down and kind of let myself feel a little bit more natural. Kind of realized that I think I've been standing a little bit closer, which is kind of awkward. You know, I stand as wide as I do. So move my stance out just a little bit, kind of immediately started feeling better about my movement. And yeah, I mean, that day actually ended up feeling okay by the end. Did a few sets with 240, and actually ended up going back up to 260 and did a triple, and it was fine. So in my head, I kind of felt like I have a good path forward. Encouraging day here, stance feeling a little bit better. So at this point, I'm still targeting, in my head, I'm targeting a PR at the end of the week. I mean, anything over 700 would feel good. My meet PR is 325. My PR in the gym is 330. If I can squat, I mean, I would chip it, right? I'd go like 332 and feel good about it. And then who knows, like we'll see what I really want to do at the meet, or kind of what my plans would be at the meet after doing that, but relief. Definitely a relief here. So no more belt squats this block, just investing in the squat movement overall. Actually gonna keep the intensity a little bit higher because I need that skill, so the taper will kind of reflect that. But anyway, yeah, I think that's it. Feeling really relieved, really encouraged. Should be looking for some big squats here at the end of the week, hopefully. Tomorrow, I don't know that I'm gonna film any talking stuff tomorrow. Tomorrow is just like, it's gonna be my lightest bench press day. I'll probably show some of the clips, but not a lot of it. I'll do a little bit of overhead work, overhead pressing. I think that actually kind of helps my pec. Just moving my arm, moving my shoulder through different planes, I guess, helps it feel a little bit better. And then I'll come back before my deadlifts and talk about goals, and we'll be getting into the really big, heavy stuff. So we'll see you later in the week. All right. Yeah, I wasn't planning on talking today. This felt big too. I don't know, 175, 386 pounds, I think. 1-1 double, first one was a 3 count. Yeah, so the pec it really didn't even feel all that good here. I can definitely feel it kind of grabbing at me a little bit, even kind of like feeling it through my bicep a little bit when I stretch over there. But just feeling like so much stronger. I certainly still feel pain. I don't feel pain now at the bottom, and I don't feel pain now through the descent. I definitely feel some discomfort when I press. I don't know, we just gotta go for it, right? Like this is kind of one of those things where, it's not really getting any worse. Perception, I guess, is getting better. I'm getting stronger, more comfortable, kind of less guarded. So this feels like a win. This is not a day that I really expected to be very strong. Who knows? So certainly, I'm gunning for a big bench at the end of the week here. I would love to hit 200. I absolutely love it. 195 would feel big too. More than anything, I would love to not have to just do like a ton of singles and just kind of work my way up like through like 10 different singles. I'll talk about that, what I've been doing later in the week. But anyway, just talking because I'm excited here. Kind of feels like I may pull this one out of my ass. So just some light reps here, overhead work, some of my little Viking press things, which really helps me. Like even right now, I feel really tight, kind of constricted through bicep and pec area. So that overhead press really kind of loosens me up. I'll do some lateral raises and call it a day. So tomorrow starts the really big stuff. Should have a big deadlift tomorrow. So finish up this stuff, and we'll see you tomorrow morning. All right, so we're back in the office this morning, working on programming and everything. This is mostly what my morning routine looks like if you haven't noticed. So mostly I would say morning to mid early afternoon is when I spend most of my time kind of working on check-ins for people, doing programming, all that kind of stuff. Try to move around a lot is really what I try to do. So kind of in between each program, I get up and do some body weight squats and things like that because it's deadlift day. So got big plans for that later on. Got to get through this programming for now. Got a couple of new client calls this week. One in about 45 minutes or so. So starting up a few more people. My schedule's been really hectic. So if you've been trying to get started with the coaching, I haven't been starting a lot of new people recently. So kind of getting that going again. But anyway, yeah, mostly just programming, kind of general work. This stuff is like kind of the most enjoyable part of my job, I guess, is kind of the creative side of things and working on the programming and kind of really trying to apply some of the stuff. It's nice to be able to kind of be in the weeds, right? Like with myself and with a lot of my clients that I can be applying some of the things, even like the difficulties of the block right now that I'm going through and kind of those learning experiences and being able to talk to other clients. And it's nice to be able to have so much experience in so many different places, even circumstances that I may not encounter, with myself, right? Other people have it, kind of get through that, and then it'll apply other places and can really help add some value to myself and other people's training. So anyway, the creative side of it, I think is really what I really enjoy. But anyway, at this point in my training, with this last week of training, one more kind of taper week next week, really trying to keep my mind in the right spot and kind of do some visualization throughout the day. Even sometimes I may even show it. Sometimes on these days, I'll even like set up the barbell in my garage and kind of throughout the day, instead of just getting up and doing bodyweight squats, I'll get up there and go into the garage and just do some deadlift reps with like one plate throughout the day and just kind of stay loose and kind of stay mentally engaged. But otherwise, we'll finish up this work and we'll get to that later. All right, let me mute this for you guys. Yeah, so done working, at least for the time being. Playing some Call of Duty before the session here. So I'm about to go out there and do my heaviest deadlift of the block right here. I've got my pre-workout. This is the PR Breaker Materia. I got my code in the description for the best pre-workout there is. So this is going to be my heaviest deadlift. I've been able to pull pretty well through this block. The beginning of it, I had the knee stuff kind of coming up, but I was able to adapt that pretty quickly. So I've been able to get 3-4 weeks of pretty good training in. At this point, I've shifted to only doing singles. I can kind of tolerate the singles a little bit better instead of the rep work. Sometimes the rep work tends to bug my knee a little bit. So doing pretty close to the same amount of volume, pretty similar loads, but just for singles instead of rep work, which I probably am going to do a little bit more of in the future. But another nice thing, I guess, about the way I have things set up now for the deadlifts is I'm going to be trying to use straps more for top singles. And I know that's kind of something that people really don't do and don't like. I've been using straps, I think, more than most good deadlifters do, even on the way into competitions. And even in straps, my grip has just never been an issue in training. So at this point, I don't really worry about it. Now, I do need to keep training my grip. I need to be ready. So the back down singles after my heaviest single, I'm doing all with just my grip. And I think that this gets a pretty good balance between the two things. And really, I'm warming up as far as I can until I feel like my grip is starting to become a liability. And I have a video on straps if people want to watch that. And basically, my stance is that we need to train the grip. The grip is part of the deadlift. It's absolutely part of people's success in the deadlift. But that we shouldn't necessarily only choose our loads based on what our grip can hold. And so I've certainly found that I can match in competition, up until this point at least. I can match in competition what I pull with straps at the meet without straps. So I'm going for it. I think that I've torn my hands twice now this block. Let's see. They're mostly healed. Oh, let me get it in front of my face. It's mostly healed at this point. But the skin is pretty raw. So I don't want to do that again. And so, hey, look, maybe all of these things are cop-outs and I should be doing more grip training. But we'll see. I'd like to prove myself right, but definitely top single will be with straps. I'll warm up to probably around 350 without straps. And the goal was that in my head, I want to pull 390 today. 860 pounds, I think is what that is. So we'll see we'll see what we get up to. But yeah, I like to do this little bit of Call of Duty here before I get out there, kind of shift my mindset away from work stuff. Allows me an opportunity. I do a bunch of like body weight squats and like mobility stuff before I actually get out there, so I feel a little bit more engaged. But anyway, I'm excited about this session. I think this hopefully should set the tone. Well, I guess my other sessions this week have already set the tone. Definitely a big mindset shift. So the tone is set, and hopefully we just continue that through the rest of this week. Yeah, so not quite the result that I was planning there. So that was 360, 794. Clearly a bit harder than last week's 370. But, I think that's one of the advantages of me having that little velocity tracker right there was I kind of knew. Mostly my last two warm-ups, 310 and 335, they felt fine, but they were noticeably a rep slower than previous weeks. So I didn't want to assume that things were going to go poorly. Still felt like I got hyped in a good way. It wasn't quite as strong as I wanted to. So anyway, I almost went up again, but I knew like anything above the 360 would have been like clearly maximal and just no need, I guess, for that. Especially, I was talking about with my grip. Let me see if we can see it now. Yeah, so it's that my ring finger. It's fine right now, but obviously getting a little worn down here. So my plan is 5 singles now with 330 kilos. Gonna keep doing them, and I might put straps on. We'll see. But I want to get through as many as I can with good holds, as long as this guy isn't getting any worse. So I think a lot of times my deadlifts the last week of a competition block haven't always been all that good, and then I pull fine. So now I really just have to decide like what I want to open at. I opened at 360 heading into last nationals. I might go 355. We'll see. I don't know. I always pull better on meet day. It's always scary. It really is. Like, lots of times I'm opening very, very close to my best deadlift in training, and it's gone very well the last few competitions. But here in the moment, when I think like, oh, I'm gonna open at 360, you know, I don't know. So anyway, that was the last like heavy deadlift. I feel very good like technically and everything, and I really felt pretty good warming up. So I don't really have reasons why the end result of this day was a little bit less than what I would have really liked. But yeah, we'll keep going with the day and hit some productive stuff and get going with the rest of the week. All right, yeah, bouncing back here. Yeah, this one feels really, really big. I think yesterday, I don't remember exactly at what point yesterday I was talking about my mindset and how things changed over really, I mean, starting with the squatting on Monday. Tuesday's bench press was the best feeling bench press. It was only 175 for a double, but like positivity, and just hit 200 on bench press. Then I did a bunch of singles with 185. Afterwards, on this day, actually for the rest of the block, I've just been doing singles. My pec really has not tolerated reps very well, especially heavier reps. And so I was supposed to do a single and then 3x3, 10 reps. So I've just been doing 10 reps, 10 singles, and just working my way up. And I've been generally able to get around 190 the last 2 weeks, but exceptionally hard. And like, I haven't really felt like I've been able to warm up with normal jumps, 10 kilo jumps or anything around there. I've had to basically take like 5 kilo jump, get to 170 and then do a couple reps, and 175 a couple reps, and basically work my way up all the way to 190 that way, or the pec just wasn't having it. So Tuesday felt really big, kind of felt like we might be there. Warming up today, like I feel it a little bit, but nothing to concern me. Doesn't hurt on my chest, doesn't hurt during the descent. Feel a little bit when I'm unracking, but besides that, by far the best day that I've had bench pressing, or this block at least. So 200 is my meet PR. If I can get that in the competition, not losing any kilos, it's huge. And I guess, at this point, it's I don't know, really becoming part of my identity, like personally at least. You guys can think whatever you want. But Bryce Lewis is known for consistently just putting together good performances. And he doesn't post all of his training, so who knows like how well stuff is going, kind of through all that. And I think I try to be a little bit more transparent, on Instagram or whatever, to kind of talk about stuff. But this block is probably the worst competition block I've had in recent memory, really. And to now at this point, genuinely feel like I have a great shot at PRing my total. My PR total is 900 kilos, 907.5 is 2,000 pounds. I feel like I've been there for a while. If I total 2,000 pounds at this competition after like the worst block ever, that'll feel really big, So I think it's really, I guess, becoming more and more part of my identity, and this is sealing it a little bit more. We'll see how the meet goes. That just like sticking with it, and putting together, just following the process. And you can see in the program that like how much I had to change things, and I've been adapting stuff kind of the whole way. And I guess if you're an athlete, watching this video, if you're a powerlifter, I hurt my pec at the end of week 1. So, I had like 5 weeks or whatever to basically get it here. My knees really started hurting at the end of week 3, which was kind of worse. My squat for sure fell apart after week 3. So, kind of the back half of this block was just horrible. And my knees were horrible at the beginning of the week, so, just really had to change things. And I guess like, what I'm saying here is don't quit. And don't get emotional about it. It's tough. Like there definitely were times that I was, frustrated and like this meet is going to, it's an interesting one, right? It's not a big national meet or anything, but Russell and, Sean Mills, these guys that have really big followings, significantly bigger than me. I wanted to do this competition because it's going to expose me to a group that I don't normally get exposed to, And so there's not really anything on the line as far as my placing. It doesn't really mean anything, but obviously every meet feels big. And to go into this competition and feel like I really underperformed would have just been, I don't know, embarrassing maybe is too strong. It's always embarrassing if you have a bad performance. You just don't want to. But anyway, it feels really good at this point to feel like, I stuck with it. I kept thinking, and that's the big part here, right? Is not just to go in and just grind away and just force yourself to make it happen, but it's just like logically, if you have a coach, if you're on your own, whatever, that plan, right? And like, what can you do every single day? And what can you do every session to get the most out of it? And think about how it's going to affect the next session. And then sometimes it works, So anyway, I'm just super pumped about the bench press. It really kind of changes my whole outlook. My deadlift always is weird in training. It's hard to say, it's hard to say really how strong my deadlift is, but I always feel that way. So if I squat well tomorrow, now I'm like fucking hyped, right? So if I squat well tomorrow, it'll change things. So I said at the beginning of the block, I was gonna squat 340. I haven't squatted over 315 this block. The last 2 weeks have been 305. And they've been pretty hard. I don't know, like in my head, I'm trying to hype myself up and like think that 340 is a possibility. I doubt it. Probably, like I would say a really solid performance would be 332, which would be a 2.5 kilo PR for me. That would feel like a humongous win just to, hit a PR after this block. I don't know. Who knows what I'm gonna squat tomorrow? Anything over 700 will be a good step in the right direction. Anything 330 or above will be humongous. So that's it, I guess. We'll talk about recovery stuff, I think, tonight a little bit. Kind of preparing for a big session tomorrow. So I'm off to my commercial gym to finish up some accessories, and then we'll see you this evening. We'll talk about some recovery stuff and getting ready for, hopefully, really big squat tomorrow. All right, we are back in the kitchen here. So, told you I was going to talk about recovery. This isn't quite it. This is my girlfriend's recovery for the end of the night here with her old fashioned. She's hiding behind the camera, but I have a little bit of trouble sleeping. Is kind of my main thing. Mostly just falling asleep. If I fall asleep, it's generally pretty good after that. So I was kind of, I didn't know if I wanted to bring this into the video, but I guess kind of a glimpse into the personal life. So I'll let you have my secret. So I have been using Delta 8 pretty often these days, or just weed for you guys who have it legal. It has been a really dramatic change in my sleep quality. So, I guess I would be lying if I said that the recreational aspect of it wasn't also something that I enjoy. I definitely enjoy that part too. But like during these heavy weeks of training, when I'm taking more caffeine and kind of like mentally getting a lot more stimulated, it's made a really, really big difference for me. So these are I don't know. I'm always skeptical about putting these kind of things online out there. I guess it's legal now for USAPL outside of competitions. So, I could be high right now. They could come in and test me. It's just, you can't there's a certain amount in your system that I don't even remember exactly the number, but I looked into it and it would be fairly difficult, I think, to test positive in a competition. So even like the night before the competition, I would usually take like half of one of these to help sleep a little bit better because it helps a lot. So helps me wind down and relax and do all that, and obviously enjoyable a little bit. So certainly during competition times, I probably take a little bit more than I should during these weeks, but I think the sleep aspect has been really big. So that's been a really big change. And then obviously I have my nutrition video that I don't know, the more and more, I even encouraging clients to take their nutrition more seriously. It still is really shocking how few people really do a good job with that. So I even mentioned there that I don't like cooking. I just don't like spending a lot of time doing that. So, you can see like my post-workout meal pretty much every day is just Fairlife chocolate milk. I love the Uncle Ben's, pre-cooked rice, really, really easy to do. We just got a Costco membership as well. So, better meats and frozen ramen or whatever, those little noodle bowls that have really helped a lot. So anyway, I think that little things, maybe that's a bigger thing, I don't know, but you can certainly find ways to be able to take control. I don't know if this is me taking control, who knows, but that's been a strategy that has really helped me a lot. But nutrition side of things, certainly heading into competitions, everyone should be doing a really good job, but if you're not investing a ton outside of it, I don't know that you're going anywhere. So anyway, I thought I'd put this on there just to give a little bit more of a glimpse into the personal side of things. Maybe it'll resonate with some people, maybe some people won't like it so much, but anyway, that's been helping me a whole lot. So tomorrow is the biggest squat day. Maybe I said that earlier, but hopefully going to bed early and getting some good sleep, and we'll wake up tomorrow and hopefully cap this block off real strong. So see you on the other side. did it. We made it all the way. So I just PR'd my squat, 332.5 kilos, 733 pounds, I think is what that is. It may have been a bit high. I mean, like I've been saying kind of throughout the video, is last couple of weeks, squatting has just felt horrible. Got up to 305 twice. Both of them were incredibly hard, you know, and I even missed a rep, like I've said, with 260 last week, so, you know, pretty much a disaster. Afterwards, I'm sure I put it on there somehow, waited too long, messaging people, kind of celebrating the win, went in cold into the 290 squat, was like 639 for a triple. Didn't feel, I mean, it felt bad, but it moved just fine. Was planning on doing 2 triples there, but it didn't feel smart really. So it didn't feel smart because afterwards my left knee, my right knee's been a bad one. My left knee kind of got all inflamed. So don't spend too long celebrating your wins. Make sure you stay in the game. So I was gonna go back down, but just didn't feel really smart. So ultimately ended up with some really, really good stuff this week. I'm gonna put my attempt sheet in the description of the video. So I may update that, here and there, just kind of tinkering, but it should be finalized at this point. So big goal, total 2,000 pounds. Ideally, I hit that on my second attempt deadlift. That would take a really good day to be able to do that. I doubt I'm gonna go for a 400 kilo deadlift. We'll see. Really, I would just like a really big total. We'll see what happens in the moment. Just depending on how things are feeling. But at this point, I'm sure the tone of this video has had kind of ups and downs. I feel really, really good at this point to be able to wrap things up like I did here. I think that's it. I think I said it all yesterday, was just, stay in it, stay thinking. Don't get frustrated. Well, you can be frustrated, right? But stay invested and continue to work the process and see what you can do to end up good. Because literally a week ago, I didn't think that I was going to be able to total like 880, and now I'm potentially, 910, 915, I think is a nice range that I'm kind of looking at. So anyway, if you did watch this whole video, this is my first vlog, I guess. So let me know if you like this kind of thing. I don't know that I'll do it too often, but it's been kind of fun to put together. So maybe like right around competition times, I'll do a little bit more of these. So let me know if you did like the video. And next week I'll be competing at the Corrupted Strength Classic. I lift in the afternoon session, which I think we weigh in at like 12:30. So lifting at 2:30, I think. I am on platform A, flight C, I think. Platform A, flight C, I'm sure you can find the live stream information through the Corrupted Strength stuff. I'm sure it'll just be on YouTube, Russell Werhe and all that. But anyway, I appreciate, as usual, everybody keeping up with the channel and all of that. And next video will be my meet recap. So we'll see you after that. And if you have not subscribed, go ahead and do that. And we'll see you next week.